In Burundi, East Africa, somewhere in the waters of the Ruzizi River, a killer lurks. A giant, man-eating monster, a prehistoric throwback to times when dinosaurs roamed the earth. With a body count of between 200 and 300 human victims, he evades all attempts to capture him. In his back, there are lodged at least 3 bullets, and his body is marked with scars from battles with some of the biggest creatures on the African continent. Battles he has most likely won. Village leaders up and down the Ruzizi River believe he is evil and protected, or possibly controlled, by a dark magic, making him impossible to stop. To them, he has become a devil, a terrible, fearsome legend. Unlike many river monster legends, however, this one is very, very real, and he has a name. Gustav is a giant Nile crocodile of some 20 plus feet in length, making him by far the biggest Nile crocodile in Africa. And despite now being more than 80 years of age and weighing the equivalent of a medium-sized car, he is likely still growing. His behavior is relatively unique, even amongst large crocodiles. For example, although he is infamous for killing around 300 people, he doesn't always consume his victims. On a number of occasions, Gustav's victims have been found post-mortem intact, suggesting he killed them simply because he wanted to. Like many serial killers, he is also highly intelligent, managing to evade even the most determined attempts to capture him. Over the course of 2 years, scientists used large, specially constructed cages and even snares to snag the enormous creature. Although other crocodiles were lured into these traps, Gustav did not fall for even the most tempting bait. On one occasion, a large cage was baited with a live goat and even a camera. However, in the night, the area was deluged by a storm. In the morning, the scientists found the cage partially submerged and the camera damaged without capturing any footage. The goat was gone. Gustav's reputation as a man-eater began in the 1980s, though given he was likely born in the mid-1950s, it is possible that he had claimed victims before. Nonetheless, his notoriety came with reports of an unusually proportioned crocodile eating local villagers, fishermen, and even poachers in records dating back to 1987. French herpetologist Patrice Fay, who was one of the scientists who attempted to capture the animal, is also the one who identified him and christened him Gustav in the mid-1990s. The attempts by Fay and a small team are chronicled in the 2004 documentary Capturing the Killer Croc and in the 2007 horror movie Primeval. Though they are ultimately unsuccessful, the documentary does contain detailed footage of the animal, which ordinarily proves elusive. Interestingly, the documentary also seems to show Gustav lingering, watching the humans set the traps, which he never falls for. Does he work out and understand the devices are traps? Does he decide to stay clear of them for fear of being caught? Or is the bait simply insufficient to attract an animal the size of Gustav? Either way, the documentary concludes by claiming the crocodile seems to leave the area once the scientists and filmmakers abandon the hunt. Though never explicitly said, if this is true, Gustav almost seemed as fascinated by the activities of his pursuers as they were with him. In the years since the 2004 documentary, no conclusive evidence of Gustav's fate or whereabouts has been put forward. Some witnesses claim to have observed him in 2015, whilst other reports claim the croc to be dead, having been killed by poachers as recently as 2019. However, absolutely no evidence to back this up has ever been found, meaning he is, more likely than not, still out there. In an expanse as vast as the Ruzizi River, with its delta, adjoining rivers, and Lake Tanganyika, it is more than possible that an animal the size of Gustav could remain out of sight with an ample food supply. It may be, one day, Gustav will return and begin claiming human lives once again, restaking his claim to the title of the world's most prolific serial killer. Thank you so much for taking the time out to watch this video, and if you enjoy bite-sized bits of the bizarre, well, please do give this channel a subscribe.